I'm trying to figure out why I'm here. I mean, I thought this was about hockey. 2 guys played in it, coached in it, got players in it. So what am I doing here? It's pretty cool though.
You're facilitating, trying to figure out and help Tony come back with a gold medal here in about 3 weeks.
It'll be
I'm
fun to
looking
watch.
for tips too.
Tips. Pucks to the net.
Okay, that's a start.
Did you know when, like, how did you guys, because it's different now, right? I mean, you don't have time with them. When you did it, did you do it too where you'd take the whole year off?
Yeah, same setup as
Same setup, yeah, centralized. And we played a 60-game exhibition schedule, so you were traveling around and, really putting your team together and, getting yourself a role on that team. And
right.
So from a coaching standpoint, when I did it in 2010, that's a real nice way to
That's right, because you did that.
Yep, and so it's an opportunity to really put the team together, work together, play exhibition games. And by the time you get to that Olympic destination, it was Vancouver, you're in pretty good position to take a run at it.
Do you then draw off what you did with the NHL guys? Because you didn't have a team, they all meet, right?
But you meet and get together. And Mark and I have played on teams like that. We played on lots of either World Championships or World Junior Championships.
That's how those work?
Where, the end of the season, they call you up and say, hey, you're on this team, and you look at the roster and you find out, well, I know 4 or 5 of these guys, and then you show up and you get to the city you're in and you introduce yourself to your teammates and you play. So that happened. I played with Mark in 86.
Moscow, we played together.
85,
really?
85 or 86. World Championship. So I got my first chance to be on the same ice as Mark Johnson in 1985, coming from college, end of our college season.
That's pretty cool now.
Yeah.
Were you nice to him or no?
Well, the interesting part is, as Tony says, you'll know 5 or 6 players on that particular team. There might be 2 or 3 guys that you really don't like or don't like playing against, and now they're your teammates. So it's just sort of, you walk through the door and you become, a brother in the sense that now we're teammates, now we got to work together for a common goal. So it's an interesting scenario, but that's how hockey operates in those World Championships. Tony went through it, 4 years ago with the Olympic team that he was an assistant coach in, and now he's going to lead our team in a scenario. So no exhibition games, 1 or 2 practices maybe, right? And
we get 5 now.
Oh, you get 5.
We changed our schedule to go over a little bit earlier.
Here, hockey guys talk all the time with our systems, but are there ones that they know? Or
there are, and we had 15 of these players play a tournament in November.
That's the one you went over for?
Yep. And those players are players that are playing in Europe professionally. They're the bulk of our team. They know pretty good idea on all of what we've tried to implement as coaches there will be very similar to what we tried to do here. The other thing we've done since we announced the team, we've been in communication, and I know we're not the high-tech guys that our players or athletes are that we're coaching, but we shared files. We gave them a lot of information through the internet on a shared website that they were able to look at videos to kind of prepare to get ready. So when we do get off the plane in a few days and get to practice, they know what's expected. They got a pretty good idea of how we're going to play.
Is terminology something that's crosses over, or do you have to say this is what this? Like in football, that's a big deal, like terminology. Hockey's smarter than that, right?
I don't know if we're smarter than that.
Less simple or easier.
It's more reactionary, right? But like your penalty kill.
Yep.
Do they know it?
They don't. So
and you sent them film of it?
We sent them film of it. Chris Chelios is in charge of the PK. Big part of our selection process and evaluation of the players that we selected had to do with we had to have enough players that Chris was comfortable with coaching in the PK that were smart enough players to understand that we're going to be implementing this in a very short period. Is their hockey IQ good? You got to have a good hockey IQ in a short tournament like this, and I think that was one of the things that we look for in our players. We talked to a lot of their previous coaches. A lot of these players have played different international tournaments with a lot of our U.S. coaches along the ways. That helps. They came into a short tournament. Yeah, last year, how did they handle, adjusting to what you were trying to teach? Oh, they were unbelievable. They were, you get a lot of feedback from a lot of their previous coaches, which was a big part of the evaluation. Because when we had our tryouts for Mark's team and for when I played in '88, we had 80 guys on the same sheet, and you could compare them to each other.
Right.
this year we're comparing 3 different leagues. We're comparing the college players to the players that are playing minor league hockey to the players that are playing pro in Europe.
Right.
So they're never together.
Yeah.
So we're doing evaluations at 3 different leagues.
That's hard.
And most of them were done obviously watching on the computer and watching game tapes. So it was a challenging process, but it was also fun in the standpoint of you're trying to piece it together. Like I said, Chelios likes these 3 forwards for the PK side of things, and Scott Young, who has the power play, says, "Geez, I got to get this guy, man. He's got a big shot. He'll be great on the power play," and you try to fit them all in there, and that was the fun part of the communication between all of the staff and scouts and coaches and communication that we had throughout the year to do this, and it's exciting because we feel really good about it.
Can you do personalities too?
It's interesting you bring that up.
You got this guy, and he's
we have
a bulldog, and
we have somebody with military background that's an interrogator that actually is part of our staff, and he did a lot of meetings with players and talked through some different scenarios and situations to get a feel for what kind of character they had. And I don't think we picked a player because he said, "Oh, this guy's got unbelievable character." But if we had some questions about, personalities of players or character of players, we did refer to him on some of the things that he learned about the interview process that he had with him. So Sean Brazil, Lieutenant Colonel, I might add. Yeah.